Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
Jurors convicted Watkins after prosecutors argued that on Christmas Eve in 2015, he murdered 15-year-old Timmy Jackson and 16-year-old Satori Williams. It happened as the two boys walked home and took a shortcut through Watkins' yard on Indy's east side. Watkins used this tomahawk hatchet to repeatedly stab the boys and then bury their bodies in separate graves.
This is quickly becoming a high-profile case here in Marion County. Prosecutors, homicide detectives, and additional deputies were on hand today. This bail bondsman, Kevin Watkins, is accused of murdering two teens who vanished here in Indianapolis on Christmas Eve.
A not guilty plea was entered for Watkins this morning during his initial hearing. The Indianapolis bail bondsman, who RTV6 interviewed last summer, is now accused of killing Jackson and his 16-year-old friend, Dion Williams. Police say Watkins had accused Williams earlier of burglary. The teens were last seen Christmas Eve. Their bodies have not been found.
Good evening. I'm Scott Swan in tonight for John Stair.
And I'm Anne Marie Tiernan in for Andrea tonight at 5 o'clock. 15-year-old Timmy Jackson and 16-year-old Dion Williams are believed to be dead, though their bodies have yet to be found.
Yeah, police say 49-year-old Kevin Watkins, a bounty hunter and business owner, killed them.
Apparently angry because he thought they burglarized his house just 2 weeks ago. Watkins denied knowing anything about the blood at his property, but police say that blood and bloody clothing, even a body part found in his SUV, all link him to the murders.
And we're learning more tonight about those young victims. But first, here's Eyewitness News reporter Jeremy Brilliant with the latest on this investigation.
Much of the evidence against Kevin Watkins was found here at his East Side business. Inside, police found a bloody mop, and outside in a dumpster, even more items they say link him to these murders.
At this house on East 23rd Street is where police found large amounts of blood on leaves in the yard and leading to a nearby shed. 49-year-old Kevin Watkins, who lives at the house, denied knowing anything about the blood or the bloody clothing found in a garbage bag inside his SUV. Police say the clothes match what 15-year-old Timmy Jackson on the left and his 16-year-old friend Dion Williams were wearing the last time they were seen on December 24th.
He didn't come home. We was like, this not like him to not just come home. And we was looking for him all night, everything calling around and everything.
On Christmas?
You know, Christmas Eve.
Word in the neighborhood circulated the boys had broken into the home, so Dion's mother stopped by to talk to Watkins. When she saw blood on the front steps, she called police, who searched the home, the SUV, and Watkins' bail bonds business. Large amounts of blood as well as human tissue and a body part were found in various locations. By the day after Christmas, it became clear the boys were likely dead. Outside the courtroom after Watkins' initial hearing, emotions ran high. Some of the victims' family members had to be restrained.
It's stressful on the families. It's this time of year. It's the circumstances of this case. It's the unknowing of certain things.
As for the man accused of murdering the boys and disposing of their bodies, which still haven't been found, family and friends struggle to believe the accusations.
I just think it's not him. He's just not that type of person.
Though Watkins made a living providing bail for accused criminals, he himself isn't eligible for bail since he's accused of murder. He'll remain in jail at least until he goes before a judge on February 16th. From the East Side, Jeremy Brilliant, Channel 13 Eyewitness
And now
News.
to a story all new at 11. The search is over for the bodies of two teens
brutally murdered last December. We now know the remains found in Shelby County last weekend are those of 17-year-old Satori Dion Williams.
Yeah, he and his friend Timmy Jackson went missing on Christmas Eve. Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from the mother of one of those victims. RTV6's Chance Walser has that story tonight.
At the courts where Timmy Jackson and Dion Williams used to hone their skills, Williams' mother tries to gather her emotions.
Sad that the hope is gone.
Just hours earlier, Amber Partlow learned what she's feared since December. Her son is dead. His remains found in rural Shelby County this week. It was Christmas last year when Amber went looking for Dion and Timmy after they'd not returned home when they should have. At a neighbor's house, occupied then by Kevin Watkins, she told police she saw a large amount of blood in the yard.
In my mind, they must have gotten somewhere, gotten away.
But they didn't get away. 2 months prior to this recent recovery of Dion's remains, a fisherman found parts of Jackson's body on the banks of an East Side pond. For their accused killer, Dion's former neighbor has a stern message.
That man hope to God rots in hell. And that is personal for me.
Amber uses her words and a different tone to focus more on her son, the boy she lost. In agreeing to speak with us tonight, she hoped only to relay one message, one that most parents can relate to very well.
Just that my son was a blessing. From the moment he came into this world, he was wonderful. And if you had met him, you would have loved him. That is the kind of person everyone loves.
And just into the RTV6 newsroom, the man convicted of killing 2 Indianapolis teenagers has learned his punishment. A judge sentenced Kevin Watkins to 110 years in prison. A jury had convicted Watkins of killing Timmy Jackson and Satori Dion Williams with a tomahawk in his yard. It happened just days after someone broke into his home in 2015. Investigators say Watkins buried their bodies in 2 different areas.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb. We on our way to Indiana with it. Indianapolis to be exact. Naptown. But y'all sleep if y'all wanna. I'm woke around this bit. Now, today, we are gonna be covering one of the most insane, gruesome, and craziest stories I probably ever brought to y'all, because I know I'm looking at this shit like, wow. We are going to be covering a guy by the name of Kevin Watkins. Now, Kevin Watkins was from Indianapolis, and he was actually a bounty hunter where he was legally able to go out and apprehend criminals. But I'm going to say, bro, it's crazy. Now, we going to rewind back to Christmas Eve 2015. And just to make it a little bit fun, y'all with the good memory, get in the comment box and let us know where y'all was, what y'all was doing that Christmas Eve. I ain't really got nothing for y'all. I just remember I was in VA. But in Indianapolis on Christmas Eve 2016, while most kids was too anxious to go to sleep or leaving Christmas cookies for Santa, 16-year-old Satori Dion Williams and 15-year-old Timmy Jackson would not make it home to open any Christmas gifts. And it would be a very, very sad set of circumstances that would lead to that. But we're going to start a week before the massacre, where on December 20th, 2015, Kevin Watkins would approach somebody, we're just going to call them Mark, at an apartment building at the 2100 block of North Arlington Avenue. Now, according to court documents, they're going to say Kevin Watkins would show Mark a badge and say that he was a Fed and go on to handcuff Mark. Watkins would tell Mark that his house was broken into and some guns were missing. Mark told Watkins that he had nothing to do with the break-in. Now, seeing all of this, Mark's mom called the police, but she would end up telling them never mind because she saw that Kevin Watkins was wearing a badge, so she thought that he was a legitimate police officer. Now, Watkins would allegedly say to Mark's mom, "I can't live with it on my heart that I killed somebody's kids." Watkins would go on to tell Mark's mom that he was a bounty hunter and he snuck around for a living. Now, a few days later, Mark would tell police that Watkins had stopped by and apologized for what he did and that he was trying to find out who was behind the break-ins and the theft at his house. According to Mark, Watkins would allegedly go on to say there would be a bloodbath on Christmas and that when they're duct taped and screaming for their mamas, they ain't gonna be saying nothing. Now, probably just thinking bro is wilding because he came over here, announced himself as a Fed and handcuffed me, then coming back to apologize. He probably really didn't take that too serious, but on Christmas Eve, the two teens would end up missing. And on Christmas Day, one of their moms worrying about them because they hadn't come home, she would go out to the neighborhood to explore, and that's where she would end up finding blood on leaves and on the lawn in front of Watkins's home. Police would go on to investigate, and they would find evidence in his home, at his bail bondsman business, and in his vehicle that was blood and a fingertip. So with the nature of the crime, this was slowly becoming one of the biggest cases in Marion County history. And it would be 2 years from the crime in February of 2018 where a jury would finally hear the case. Now, facing an overwhelming amount of physical evidence that linked him to the double murder, his defense team would admit that Watkins committed the murders, but he would claim he committed the murders in self-defense. Now, after his arrest, Watkins refused to talk to police, but in a series of handwritten letters by himself to the judge, he would go on to detail that he suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, and he would claim that the prosecutors harassed witnesses in order to obtain a tainted conviction. But with choosing the self-defense angle, that pretty much put him in a box because pretty much why would they end up dismembered? This is just me even thinking that. But not only that, he denied any knowledge of the crime when police first came to investigate it. So it was just a bunch of loopholes in the case. He would ultimately be sentenced to 110 years in prison for those two murders. But it got me thinking, like, what if the little bros did not commit the murder? And just by looking at it or looking at him, bro definitely looked like somebody that I do not want to be my next door neighbor. Matter of fact, we go hard so we don't have to live next to dudes like that because it's just crazy. But yeah, I know how y'all mob ties niggas do. Y'all always be like, oh, they shouldn't be taking it off. What if they didn't do it? What if Charleston Scoop Goodman didn't take the two birds? It's crazy out here. But I definitely want to send a condolences to the families of Satori Williams and Timmy Jackson. This is just a sad situation overall. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. Y'all make sure y'all hit the red subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. And y'all make sure y'all let me know what cities we haven't gone to, what gangsters we need to cover, and whatever we missed. And y'all flood the comment box below. Y'all tweet me, tag me, call me, text me, CC me, email me, direct message me. Shit, stop me in the streets if you see me. Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb, mobb, mobb.